Hi, so welcome back. We're discussing the issue of sexual harassment in the workplace. It's a serious topic, and by all research, it's very relevant to Ghana and Ghanaians. So we have Gov, Edmund, and Jenny, who's going to be discussing that with us. So welcome.
Good morning.
Lovely to have you here.
Nice to be
how
here.
we got there, Gov. I like that. I like that. Okay. So, sexual harassment, what is it? What is it? How can people identify when it's happening or if they're doing it?
Sure. I'll actually read the definition so we can get it nice and clear. Sexual harassment comprises any unwelcome, unwarranted, and unprovoked sexual conduct. This could be in various forms, such as touching, winking, patting, sexual statements, comments, and other forms of sexual communication. So in this day and age, it could even be by text.
Yes.
Or by email, because people are on, on the net a lot.
Facebook.
So it can take, Facebook, Twitter. It can take so many forms. But I think the key thing is unwarranted and is unwanted. And because you're a woman, somebody thinks they have the right to harass you in this manner. So that's what it is.
Yes, definitely. And for me, I even think that in the workplace, it shouldn't even be about unwanted. Why would you be touching somebody in that kind of way in a work environment? Even if you're working with your husband, there's a professional code of conduct, isn't there, that we should adhere to when we're in the workplace, and that's what we're here to find out or to clarify today. So you, Gov, how do you see this thing?
I mean, just as Jenny said, that it's about whether or not it's wanted or not. Sometimes you might find somebody attractive and you may make advances to that person, but if you make an advance to somebody and you can see, or the person's response tells you that they're not happy with it, that's where you should be able to leave it. But the thing about it, that within the workplace you have different situations going on where somebody may be in a higher position than that person, so they feel that they have the right to do so, or not necessarily the right, but they have the ability because of their position, that they see that subordinate looking up to them, knowing that, okay, if I don't kind of agree with this person who is in that position above me, then some way it may affect my job, it may affect my wages, and that's something that they will always look at. That makes a big difference.
That is actually key. I think people feel pressure. We were talking about bullying last week, wasn't we? And it is this form of bullying, but it's more sleazy, it's more lewd, and it's more degrading for the person who's going underneath it. So it's going on in Ghana. I'm sure you're aware of it. It's quite all the research that I've done actually shows that it's rampant in Ghana and it's endemic in the system. So why do you think that is? Why is it such a big issue here?
I think there are various reasons, but I'd like to look at it from the point of view of what's acceptable. Okay, so growing up, if you've seen men, able to do whatever they want to a woman, or as a woman you feel like, well, people can look at me in this way, they can say what they want to me, but when it comes to you, you think, oh, everybody goes through it. How can I be any different? So I think it starts with us understanding that no, it's not acceptable, it shouldn't be happening, and it's not right, and there are laws to protect us against sexual harassment.
That's right. Yes, that's right. But I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. I think what you're saying is that a lot of people don't actually know when they're being harassed. And the harasser doesn't always feel like they're doing it. So bringing it up about Facebook and Twitter and little messages and emails is very relevant. But what says you, Gav?
I mean, for me, I find that people allow it to happen, as Jenny was saying again, because they see it. It's something that, if you see something often enough, it can seem as if this is normal and acceptable. But just to add to something that you were saying, that it's demeaning to the person who is being harassed, but it's also demeaning to the person who is the harasser.
That's
because it's all about perception. It's about how you perceive women, but also how you perceive yourself. I mean, for me, if a man needs to use his position to get a woman, what does that say about the man? Because how would you be able to actually take pleasure from being with somebody knowing that they don't really want to be with me, but they're only there because of my position or because of money? And that's something that the men need to look at, because even though in the main it's women who are harassed sexually, but the thing about it is that as a man, if that's something that you can accept within yourself, then there's something that you need to look at within your own psyche. Do you know what I mean? Which would make a big difference.
Definitely,
in the workplace and in Ghana as in general.
I think we should teach people to be confident in themselves without having to abuse their power, their will, whether it's money, whether it's position. I know people who've gone for a job in a bank and have been told that you do realize you're going to have to sleep with men to meet your target.
You're joking.
Hand on heart, I'm not joking. It is terrible. You hear about it in schools, you know, university, at the secondary school level. So I think once people value themselves and have dignity and self-respect for themselves and their fellow human being, you know that there are boundaries you shouldn't cross. And these boundaries should be clear.
So then what we're saying is that the key underlying issue is self-respect and respect for others. So this is what we're going to have to start teaching, because the media... Okay, the media is, we're going to take a little break after this, but let me just deal with this question. The media. Everybody blames a lot of things on the media. How relevant is the media to this thing of sexual harassment taking place?
It's massive. I mean, because there are so many people that they believe what they see. So if you show something enough, if you show that, okay, it's okay for a man to look at a woman in a certain way or treat a woman in a certain way because of the way she's dressed or because of who you think you are, the position that you have, many people think that, okay, this is okay to do. So until we start changing that perception, until we start changing what people see, then you find that the situation will continue for a long time.
The media, Jen, how are you seeing it?
I mean, somebody would say, well, sex sells. So for them, it's all about money. But in life, you don't really want to be just doing things purely for economic reasons, because then your value system, your belief system, you know, the generations that are coming, you have a responsibility. So yes, they're selling, but we have to see that it does affect, you know, the young people, people who are impressionable, and people, everybody, because if it's around you for long enough, like you said, it becomes normalized, and you feel like, oh, but that's just how it is. How else can it be?
Which is the biggest culprit, do you think, in the music industry? What area? Not I'm giving my biggest area, but in the media, that's my biggest area. I see the music industry and the visual images.
It looks very glamorous. You know, but for a lot of it, they're just doing, it's a job. They're just putting on a show. So yes, it's about crossing the line between what is reality.
And that is a key point, because I think these girls, like I saw Miley Cyrus, which, you know, a lot of young girls follow people like Miley Cyrus when she was Hannah Montana and all that kind of thing. But now she's gone wild out. She's out there. But Miley Cyrus doesn't go out. And she's literally, one of her performances, she was naked. She's done it in a certain way, but she was naked, and you know, she's raunchy, she's hard-hitting, she's uncompromising, it's hardcore sex, and women can do anything. But when you go into Miley Cyrus's life, she doesn't even go out. She has a chef come in. She says she doesn't go out because she can afford to have a chef to come in and cook. She's got a big screen TV that if she wants to watch anything, you understand? So they know the difference. And I think what you're saying is so important, that our young girls and young guys who are watching and thinking that this is the image that they want women to have are being misled, I would say.
But the key word is what you said, image. You know, Miley Cyrus knows the difference between the image that she wants to portray and how she truly wants to live. And people look at TV and think that this is reality instead of remembering that it's an image people are portraying for us to see. You know?
Okay. So they're telling us that I've got to end the interview. So, because this is a hot topic, I know we could be on it for a little while. Let's give it a break and let me... Okay, so now we're back with a little research and finding out some of the facts about what exactly is going on in the workplace when it comes to sexual harassment and how serious it is. So let me get something up on the screen. Now, what they say is that even though, I'm specifically dealing with Ghana, it is an international problem and it's probably worse in a lot of countries, other countries. But the reality of it is that it is here and it is quite serious here. Now, the figures show that 95% of people who come under sexual harassment never report it. And I think because there's 1,000,001 reasons why that is. So let's look into some of the reasons why it is. So let's go to the next screen. But the main thing is that we know that in all types of job, harassment is coming on at us, and it's coming on at us in a number of ways. The main sexual harassment is basically, the definition of it, if I can remember rightly, the definition of sexual harassment is to be advances or approach towards a person that is unwanted, whether it be physical or emotional, and it will also cause harm to the individual. And like we said, it will become a legal matter, and anybody who's going through it really needs to document what's going on and keep records of everything, because it's something something that's almost impossible to prove as well. So what we've got, I did want that one, I'm sorry I took so long to get to it, but what we've got is that we've got two types of sexual harassment that's classified. We've got quid quo pro. Quid quo pro is something for something. Your boss, before he can give you a pay rise, he wants a little something. Or before you can even get a job interview, you've got to give them something in return, and in that case it will be sexual. So this is quid pro quo pro. Something for something. Remember that one, because that's quite common here. And then we've got hostile working environment. Well, the environment is just honestly like this lady here. Can you imagine she's doing a normal job and they're over her, looking at her, talking about her in a negative way? That's going to make her feel uncomfortable. But the three key forms of the way that harassment shows up itself is verbal, physical, and visual. So verbal, we can be talking about some of the things they say, sleazy comments, sexy jokes, those types of things. And then physical, obviously, is touching, and touching in people in the places where they've not invited that touch. And it could be just a touch on the arm, but some people have a way of doing it that just is going to run the person. We're going to run their person cold and make them, you know, feel alienated towards you. And then when we're talking about sexual harassment, to be specific, let's look at the stuff we've got here. We've got pestering. These are the ones that are specific to Ghana. These are where the research, I looked at Ghana University, has come up with some of these, and they said what is common in this country is people pestering people for things, for sexual favors. They want the benefits, as a quid quo pro that we was talking about. They're looking for sexual benefits, for sexual exchange for benefits, employment benefits, whether it be job opportunities or something within the workplace. So there's a number of ways in which sexual harassment will come through. So the common aggressors, who are the people who we need to be careful of or who need re-educating? Again, from the research that we've looked at, we've got lecturers and teachers. Again, this is specific to Ghana. Lecturers and teachers seems to come up quite highly. Revenue officials, maybe when they're coming to collect that tax, instead of the tax they'll take something else in replace. And then we've got doctors and politicians and government officials. So what are married men who are in a position of authority, elderly married men. So what we've got here is that what we're seeing, the common trend of quid quo pro, especially where you want something for nothing, is with people who are in great authority and who you trust, your children or your, you know, you trust those people to have dignity and integrity, but they're often the ones who don't have it. So it comes down to really being a cultural question. We do need a level of education nationwide. The nation needs to now start to recognize that these little comments, you know, like a school teacher at one of my children's school was calling all the little girls their wife, their wife. Now that might sound like an innocent comment, but why should a 30-year-old man call an 8-year-old girl his wife? No, that's his daughter, and that's the correct frame of reference to use. So cultural education, policies, and finally I always recommend legal action as the last solution, because we're not, sometimes people are doing these things, they're doing it innocently, and they don't really realize how much harm or how much unhappiness and uneasiness is causing you. Okay, so we're going to go take a little break and go straight to the exercise. Okay, so we're back again. The exercise is going to be very brief because our timetable is not working out today. So just a quick flash of what we did last week, and then we will end it there, okay? Let's go. Let's get some music, please, and let's get started. Working out because you're having to move your body from the floor to the ceiling to up. If you jump, that's going to make the workout even harder. So we do this kind of workout to build up our blood pressure quickly, not blood pressure, get our blood rate flowing, and to just get hot. Okay, keep that going. That's nice. Lovely. This is going to work your abs, your back, your shoulders especially. And just doing it for a brief time, you'll feel how intense it is. So if you're working out like this for 1 hour, you know you're going to really feel it. Those squats are great for your legs. Good. Lovely. Flutter kicks, we call this one. Flutter, flutter, squat. Flutter kicks and squat. Brilliant for intensifying your lower body. Getting some nice results there, especially you ladies. This is a way to work out. Good. Flutter kicks and squats. Squat it out. Lovely. Okay. One more exercise and then we'll end it there, guys. Lovely. Okay. Okay, in fact, I think we can end it there. The time just wasn't with us today. So, looking forward to seeing you all again next week. Hope you've enjoyed Body and Soul. Enjoy your Easter, and remember that sometimes to you a touch, a look, a joke, or a gesture might seem harmless, but it could be making somebody's life very miserable. Okay?
Right.
See you next week.
Sweet.